Rama 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 Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Arpanamastu. We have been seeing some glimpses of Bhagwan. Yesterday we saw how Dr. Justice Anand, as soon as he entered the Pradhan Mandir, he saw only a column of fire, a pillar of fire, where Bhagwan was seated. He was taken aback. But then, slowly, this effulgence condensed into the form of Bhagwan. This is what he has said. In the beginning, several thousand years before the Puranic time, Lord Shiva stood here as a huge column of fire. It's not just a physical fire that we see, it is a blazing tejas of knowledge. The highest energy associated with the ultimate truth and the emission, what we call tejas. It is the Brahma tejas in its highest form, and it was radiant as a blazing fire. Today we shall see the experience of a devotee from Tirukovilur. One Shree Natarajan had come here some 2 or 3 years back. He narrated his experience. He said the first time these people, his father, they've been running a hotel in Thirukovilur. His mother was a devotee of Shri Gnanagiri Swami, and he had seen Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan in Tapovanam. But after the Mahasamadhi of Gnanagiri Swami, he wanted to come to Tirumalai and see Bhagwan. Though he was not all that sure, he wanted to come up. And when he came to Tirumalai, he was in a dilemma. He was thinking whether to go to Arunachala Mountain first and then to Swami next, or should it be the other way? But somehow he found himself climbing the steps of Sannadhi Street House. And there was an old man with some offering in his hand. He was standing there, and Natarajan went behind him, and Bhagwan was lying down. After these people, they were waiting, they were standing there, and Bhagwan got up. When he got up, his eyes fell upon Natarajan as though he knew what Natarajan was thinking, because the first thing that Bhagwan said, "Hey, why are you standing here? You go to Arunachala. Arunachala will bless you. Go to Arunachala." Now Natarajan was surprised that he should voice out. Swami knew what he was thinking, whether to go to Arunachala first and then come next. But then suddenly he found himself standing there, unable to move out. He did not want to go from there. How the shift happened, how this mind changed, he was not sure, but then he found himself standing there. And when the old man moved away, he fell at the feet of Bhagwan and held on to his feet. After that, Bhagwan, he was waiting again. He said, "Bhagwan, Swami, I would like to talk to you." Swami just got up and went inside. But then he was not going to meet him. Swami did not allow it. He did not come out at all. So he left. Natarajan left. Now to his hotel, one Swami, Suresh Narendra, Yogi Suresh Narendra, who was also roaming the streets like a beggar. He has taken Yogi Ramsuratkumar as his guru, and he was also unpredicted, moving around, roaming the streets. He would suddenly appear at the doorstep of the hotel, and he would come there at odd times also. Sometimes he would come there at 12 o'clock in the night. So once, when he went to the hotel, he saw Natarajan and told him, "Go and see the divine beggar Yogi Ramsuratkumar in Tirumalai. Take a rose garland and some cigarettes, Chamina cigarettes. You please go see him." At the time, Bhagavan was giving darshan at Sudama, so he came with a rose garland. Swami Suresh Narendra said, don't add any other flowers to that. Let it be a pure rose garland. So he was standing there outside Sudama with the garland. Initially there were only 2 or 3 people, but soon he found there was a big crowd of 50 to 60 people waiting. That day something special was going on inside. There was bhajan, there was singing, and people were coming out. Already the veranda was full with people, and they were coming out one by one. It took quite some time, nearing 6, and then a lady came and found out the names of all those people standing there. And then Bhagavan sent word, the one from Thirukovilur, he alone can come inside. So Natarajan entered, and Bhagavan this time, he found Bhagavan seated in a chair, a bamboo chair. And then he came near him, and Bhagavan bent his head for the garland. So Natarajan garlanded him and fell prostrate at his feet. When he got up, Bhagavan gave him 3 slaps on the nape, the back of the neck. 3 slaps, loud pats, somewhat very strong ones. And Natarajan felt the pat was not just a pat, the blow that he gave, the 3 blows. It looked as though his head would scatter. He was unable to bear such energetic blows on his head, the back side of his head. So he just moved away a little and stood there at about 5 feet distance from Bhagavan. And suddenly, Bhagavan raised his hand to bless him, and from the palm of Bhagavan Yogi Ramsuratkumar, he found a beam of light coming and falling upon him. A huge beam of light was expanded to swallow him completely. He was lost in that light, and then he soon found himself being lifted higher and higher and higher, unable to stop himself. It looked as though he crossed so many planets and stars and went beyond this world. And suddenly at one point, his whole body felt as though they were kept on, it was kept on the ice, cold ice. He felt the chill all over. He seemed to be doing some astral traveling, and suddenly his mind must have been pulled to the physical body, because he felt the ice cold body, and he could no more stand there, and he fell down. After he prostrated, after he garlanded Bhagavan, he prostrated. When he got up, Bhagavan gave him 3 blows on the back, that is on the head, the back of the head. And the 3 blows were so strong, Mr. Natarajan thought that his head would explode into pieces. Such was the power that was transmitted from Bhagavan's hand. And he moved very quickly, some 5 feet away from Bhagavan, and stood there, and suddenly a huge beam of light, an effulgence came and swallowed him. So this experience going beyond and beyond and beyond all the planets and stars, and suddenly landing with a thud because he felt the cold all over. Here physically he was standing in front of Bhagwan 5 feet away and he fell down. And what was more, Bhagwan withdrew his hand. But the experience was enough to know what Bhagwan truly is. This effulgence has been witnessed by some people off and on. I remember Sri Krishnamurthy of Dinamalar, the editor of Dinamalar. Whenever he came, he would recall that particular experience and shed profuse tears. He would be overwhelmed even while describing it, that he saw pure, glowing effulgence in the place of Bhagwan's form. And slowly the light condensed into the form of Bhagwan with the turban and the shawl. I remember Sri Manoharan of Virudhunagar. When he came and described a similar experience, he was unable to speak even. He would start telling me, and halfway he would break into an outburst of crying, outburst of tears. His voice would choke on. There was a lump in his throat and his voice would choke. Just remembering the experience that he had. All along he thought Bhagwan, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, was a sage with a body. And suddenly this experience, and he knew for sure that the body was not Yogi Ramsuratkumar, but the essence of Yogi Ramsuratkumar is that effulgence. It is a true being of Yogi Ramsuratkumar. So from time to time, and I remember Kovilpatti Tirumalai also describing a similar experience. When he had come, we have talked about it. Anyway, it will be fitting if you should recall this at this moment. When he came with Shri Gnanagiri Ganesan, he was complaining, he was grumbling. What is this, Swami? So many people say so many experiences, but I never got any in your presence. If you are God, I should be able to feel something. Why is that nothing is happening to me? So he was complaining, he was lamenting, and was seated in the dining hall when the bhajans were going on there. Bhagwan himself was seated outside the Pradhan Mandir in a chair where a small temple stands today. And suddenly the attendant came and said, Kovilpatti Tirumalai and Gnanagiri Ganesan, Swami is calling. Now he was arrested in his thoughts, his complaints forgotten. He rushed out. And he would have hardly crossed the gate that connects the dining hall and the big space outside. Just when he came to the threshold, he saw Bhagwan, and suddenly Bhagwan vanished into thin air, only to be replaced by a huge effulgence. The force of this experience was so much on him that he almost fainted. So from time to time we see people describing such experiences, but all that it indicates is that his true, the Swarupa, as we call it, the true being of Yogi Ramsuratkumar was that effulgence that they witnessed. They say, Koti Surya Prabha, a crore of suns. You can imagine the one sun that we see in the sky every day. Imagine 1 crore of such suns. That is the effulgence of this divinity. So, Kovilpatti Tirumalai has written about this, narrated this particular experience of Bhagwan. So here we see that this experience, there is another experience described by Shri Mohanji. He is an international guru with his own following. He has been guiding many people into deep meditation. He had disciples from many, many countries. He is very fond of Bhagwan. He would come with a group of his disciples. He would visit. Once he told me that he had a vision. When he was staying in Thirumalai, he was looking at Arunachala, and suddenly he had a vision. What vision? He found an opening in the mountain, Arunachala, and when he went inside, there was a tall rishi who took him inside. And what did he see there? Many, many rishis sitting completely absorbed in different states of meditation. They all looked gold. Everything in that inner world was gold. It was an overwhelming experience for him. Suddenly he felt this world must have been the Siddha Loka. Siddha Loka, Siddha, a Siddha Purusha, a Siddha means one who has accomplished the highest being God. So it seemed like a Siddha Loka because he saw many, many, many rishis in different states of meditation, and what was more, they resembled each other. And the energy was so, so high. He also came out. So he said that these Siddhas inside the mountain, they were supporting the mountain, and the mountain in turn is supporting these rishis. And together they give such strong energy. They give out such strong energy, and that is why this Arunachaleshwara mountain has such magnetic pull. People from all over the world, every nook and corner of the world, you just mention some country, there are people from there. They're all being drawn, the sages and the sadhaks. They're all drawn by a magnetic pull. So you see, this Arunachala mountain, it's been described in Arunachala Mahatmyam that it was once a golden mountain. But people like Shri Mohanji, they say that the golden world is still inside Arunachaleshwara mountain. And there is such energy there. And that is why this Arunachala mountain has such a magnetic pull. Once, I think 3 or 4 years back, Shri Murlidharaswami, had come to the ashram. He landed here all of a sudden, that out of curiosity, I asked him what brought him here all of a sudden. Then he said he had a vision the previous night in deep meditation. He saw this golden world inside Arunachala Mountain. He saw many, many rishis inside. And after that he could not hold himself there. He had to rush to Tirumalai. So you see, people have been confirming the existence of the Siddha Loka right inside this Arunachala Mountain. And they say that is why the place has got, the whole of Tirumalai has got such high energy. The rishis are supporting the mountain in turn is supporting the rishis. It's a mutual sustenance. And that's why the whole of Tirumalai has such high energy. There's a very strong spiritual current in this place. So much so, they say that a householder, a full-fledged householder, living his normal household life in Tirumalai, has the energy of a sannyasi. You just have to be there, that's all. Just staying in Tirumalai itself is sadhana. Because Arunachala does everything for you. This is the belief. And I read somewhere that Ramana Maharishi himself once went around the mountain, and at one point, somewhere near Dinamalar, he found something like a cave, an opening. He was drawn to that and he went inside. As soon as he went in, he saw a huge golden world. There were rishis, sages everywhere, absorbed in deep meditation, and they were all shining gold. There were trees, but they were golden trees. There was a stream, it was golden too. All the birds, all the trees and plants, everything was shining in gold color. And the energy was so high, even he felt something, the attack of such energy. So he hastily withdrew and called the temple authorities to close this opening with a boulder. And I believe today it has merged with the rest of the mountain that nobody could find out where the opening was. So such is the glory of Tirumalai. And that is why many, many people come and settle down here. Now in the recent times, we see Sri Seshadri from the place of Kamakshi, and Ramana Maharishi from the place of Meenakshi, and Yogi Ramsuratkumar from the place of Visalakshi, the three aspects of the Divine Mother. And their divine sons, Sri Seshadri Swami, Sri Ramana Maharishi, and Yogi Ramsuratkumar. They have done their spiritual ministry in the recent times, adding to the glory of this place. In fact, once Bhagwan said, the whole of Tiruvannamalai is sanctum sanctorum of Shiva, Lord Shiva, and that's why there's high energy. And then he added, Devaki. Still, the outside energy is different. The energy inside this ashram is different. This is what he said. He in fact sent somebody there to go and stand outside and then come inside and asked him what he felt in both places. And that man said, inside it is something far more than what is outside, that he felt something much more strongly inside than outside. And then Bhagwan confirmed it, yes, the energy inside the ashram is higher than outside. Now this Bhagwan, it is he who filled this whole place with his power and grace. This is a Shaktishali space. When people come here, Bhagwan said, people who come inside will not go back empty-handed. The Samadhi of Bhagwan is here. There is such beautiful energy inside. Because these great souls are not bodies. Their true form is one of light and grace, and that is very much here in the Samadhi, in the statue of Bhagwan. That when you go near the Samadhi or when you touch the statue of Bhagwan, the Murti of Bhagwan, you shouldn't say statue, the Murti of Bhagwan, because it's so alive. Sometimes you get electric shock just touching the foot. Now this Bhagwan is here right in front of us. We will submit our today's prayers at his feet. Even in Sudama, Bhagwan would be like that. Sometimes he would be like a child, laughing and joking with us, very casual, like a father. And suddenly, or sometimes like a baby, and suddenly you would see such a huge effulgence filling up the space between the sky and the earth. For 1 minute he was a baby, just laughing and joking. And the next minute he was filling up the whole space. There was nothing else, there was not even me. There was only this huge, huge effulgence. So how could anybody define Yogi Ramsuratkumar? Who is he? Is he that body that we all saw? Or the highest truth, the essence of that? Bhagwan, all we can do is beg you, beseech you for your immediate divine intervention to uproot the fear from the hearts of people, to stop the spread of the disease, and to free the entire world from the clutches of this terrible virus, and bring back normalcy, a dharmic normalcy to the world. Bhagwan, please enter some vaccine and give it the potency to kill this virus. And all those brave people who are in the field fighting the disease at the very risk of their life, Bhagwan, we beg you to give them protection and all-round wellness. Please give a boost to the falling economy, and above all, give us a huge gift of praise so that we remember your name all the time and go about our daily life as a fitting instrument in your hands. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.